And the question I'm asking all of you is your thoughts on what took place in this election night last night, and now your thoughts this morning. Did they change? Are they the same? What are your thoughts on election night? We'll take some phone calls at 702-257-5396. Before I do so, I want to play you a little bit of audio from both candidates from last night. Let's start with Joe Biden. This is what Joe, and keep in mind, Joe Biden made these statements last night, and so did Trump, before they knew what transpired overnight when it comes to Michigan and Wisconsin. They did not know. But this was after Fox News declared Arizona to Joe Biden. Here's Joe Biden's comments in front of some of his supporters last night.
Good evening. Your patience is commendable. We knew this was going to go long, but who knew we were going to go into maybe tomorrow morning, maybe even longer. But look, we feel good about where we are. We really do. I'm here to tell you tonight, we believe we're on track to win this election.
Yes.
We knew because of the unprecedented early vote and the mail-in vote that it was going to take a while. We're going to have to be patient until the hard work of tallying the votes is finished. And it ain't over till every vote is counted. Every ballot is counted. But we're feeling good. We're feeling good about where we are. We believe one of the nets has suggested we've already won Arizona, but we're confident about Arizona. That's a turnaround. We also just called it for Minnesota, and we're still in the game in Georgia, although that's not one we expected. And we're feeling real good about Wisconsin and Michigan. And by the way, it's going to take time to count the votes. We're going to win Pennsylvania.
Yes.
I've been talking to folks in Philly, Allegheny County, Scranton, and they're really encouraged by the turnout and what they see. Look, you know, we could know the results as early as tomorrow morning, but it may take a little longer. As I've said all along, it's not my place or Donald Trump's place to declare who's won this election. That's the decision of the American people. But I'm optimistic about this outcome.
All right, so I don't think there was anything wrong that Joe Biden said in that statement. He's absolutely right. Every vote should be counted, and I have no problem with him being confident as Donald Trump. But I want you to listen. Let's move on to Donald Trump now. I want you to listen to what Donald Trump said in the early morning hours that even has many Republicans raising their eyebrows. Have a listen to this.
I want to thank the American people for their tremendous support. Millions and millions of people voted for us tonight, and a very sad group of people is trying to disenfranchise that group of people, and we won't stand for it. We will not stand for it. This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. So our goal now is to ensure the integrity for the good of this nation. This is a very big moment. This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list, okay? It's a very sad moment. To me, this is a very sad moment, and we will win this. And as far as I'm concerned, we already have won it.
Okay, so here's my response to that. First of all, the sad moment is when the president of the United States questions the democracy of this country when it comes to an election. That's a sad moment. He used the term disenfranchised. There's nobody disenfranchising anybody. He used the term over and over again.
There are hundreds of millions of Trump voters with really bad taste in their mouths.
Okay,
and you're sitting next to one.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand.
Disenfranchised, that's not even the right word.
All right, so just let me finish my opinion.
That
and
word
then I'll
doesn't
give you
even describe what Trump supporters nationwide are feeling right now.
Well, that's that's not my fault. That's not Democrats' fault.
And America
so let me just continue.
Nothing yet as it relates to Trump supporters when they're pissed off.
Let me just finish my point, and then if you want to be pissed off and sit there and be angry, that's fine. That's up to you. If I was a supporter of Donald Trump, I'd be very disappointed right now because it looks like Joe Biden's going to win. But let me go back to what I was just saying. It's a sad moment for the country when the president of the United States attacks our democracy and our elections. Nobody's disenfranchising anybody. There's no evidence of fraud. The president used the term fraud on several occasions. It's not fraudulent to count every vote. He wants every vote counted and continuing to be counted in Arizona and Nevada, but yet other states, he doesn't want those votes to be counted. He also said, quote, "We won this election." That is a lie. There is no evidence that anybody right now won the election, including Joe Biden. Joe Biden said he feels very good about where they're at. There's nothing wrong with that. Joe Biden didn't say we won the election because the election results are not all in yet. So the president is lying when he makes a statement like that. He also said, President Trump said, he wants voting to stop. Newsflash, Mr. President, voting has stopped. Nobody is allowed to vote right now. They are counting votes. So a lot of misinformation, lies, and mistruths from the president of the United States. Those are facts. I'm not saying those things because I don't like Donald Trump. It's a fact. Nobody's voting right now. There's zero evidence of fraud. You're not disenfranchising people by counting all the votes, and you can't have it both ways. Count Nevada and Arizona, but don't count Michigan and Wisconsin. It's ridiculous. It's hypocrisy. That's not disenfranchising anybody. Period. The number to call is 702-257-5396, by the way, if you want to be a part of the conversation. I don't blame JD for being upset. I don't blame Trump supporters for being upset, but it's not because of fraud.
I'm not upset because of Donald Trump and how he performed in this election. I thought he did an outstanding job. He did 17 rallies 3 days before the election. I am upset because Donald Trump was looking extremely good in states, and those states were not called for him. I am upset because Joe Biden had Virginia called for him with 1% in. I am upset because Joe Biden had Arizona called for him with 73% in. I am upset that Donald Trump didn't have Florida called for him by 96%. I will never watch Fox News again. I think that Fox News has ruined their reputation with about 25%, probably more than that, a large percentage of their viewership. I thought they handled last night's, just their entire coverage was horrendous in my opinion, and I do believe that there was legitimate fraud involved in this election, Brian. And I believe what kind of fraud? I believe, I just explained it to you, Brian. They stopped counting, and then 2 hours later they start counting again, and suddenly they get 100,000 votes for one candidate and zero votes for
who? Who's reporting that?
So if you Google like election results, it shows you what the updated numbers are. The updated numbers showed once those votes were counted, it showed 138,000 to Joe Biden. So
according to who?
That means that there was 138,000 votes in Michigan that only went to Joe Biden and none to Donald Trump. Okay. The chances of that happening are astronomically low, especially when Trump was up in Wisconsin and Arizona the day before the election when combining return vote-by-mail ballots
let's take some calls.
Early in person.
All right, fair enough. Let's take some calls. But again, I'll repeat this one more time.
No, we're not going to know about this election in 24 hours. Donald Trump is there's no chance he concedes.
All right.
So that's one.
Okay.
And two, every single mail-in ballot in Georgia, in North Carolina, in Nevada, in Arizona, in Michigan, in Wisconsin, and in Pennsylvania, every single one will be vetted and verified to make
That's what
sure.
They're doing now.
And they're not. They're not doing that now, Brian.
What are you talking about?
Donald Trump's attorneys are going to. We're going to go through a whole process where every single ballot is looked at.
I see. Okay. All right. So let me go back to what I just said. There is zero evidence of fraud. Zero.
I just described it to
Okay,
you.
so if I could just continue now, please. You made your case. I don't agree with anything you said, but you made your case. There's zero evidence of fraud. I asked JD on several occasions to give me a source that would tell you, and by the way, not JoeBidenIsDone.com or one of those websites. Give me a reputable...
Which was totally correct.
Okay, so give me... Hold on, if I could just finish.
By 5 points.
If I could just finish again, please, without being interrupted for a fourth time in 10 seconds. A reputable news source that says that during the votes counting in any state, it was 100,000 to 0. I would like not to see a graph on Twitter, but I would like to see a reputable news source that is reporting that. And the reason why, if I could just finish again, there's not one reputable news source out there that I've seen that is reporting what you're saying that you saw a graph on Twitter. So that's all I want to say. But let's let the listeners decide now because we only have about 10 minutes.
The Associated Press is the source.
Okay, I'd love to see that information.
Pretty good source.
I'd love to see that information that they're saying that there was fraud in the election. I'd love to see that.
Trump's campaign has just called a recount for Wisconsin.
Wonderful. Okay, 257-5396 is the number to call. Like I said, there's no evidence of fraud in the election. Let's go to John. John is first up on the Vegas take. By the way, you just cited the AP.
Yeah.
The AP are the ones that called Arizona. So I find it interesting that you're now citing the AP, but you also don't believe the AP when they're the ones last night that called Arizona with Fox News.
Brian, how do you not call Florida with 96% in and a 4% lead for Trump, but you call Arizona?
So why are you citing the AP then if you don't agree with them?
I mean, what you're saying makes no sense at all.
It makes complete sense.
No, it does not.
You're citing the AP.
Just because I disagree with one thing they do doesn't mean I don't disagree with everything that
so
they
they're
do.
credible at
Again,
everything else.
You're generalizing.
Gotcha. Okay, so they're credible at everything else except